Lidia Bernik shares her experience of loss to suicide and also her work to prevent such tragedies. Lidia works for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, a 24-hour toll-free suicide prevention service available to anyone in a suicidal crisis.
When I was a senior in college, I was actually just a month away from graduating, and I got a call that my sister had taken her life. I remember vividly a time at one point my sister came home from college because she was struggling, and she just said, "I can't do this anymore." And she came home, and we were talking one day, and I was like, "Ren, what's wrong? You seem really upset." And she started crying. She's like, "I don't want to tell you. I don't want to make you sad with my problems." Most of the time I was able to insist, and she would open up to me. But what was really hard for me after my sister died is that we got her final phone bill, and it turns out that she had called me 7 times that day. And I was in the library, and this was before everyone had cell phones. So, after time, at that moment I felt like, oh, if I had only been there, I wasn't there. She was reaching out for help.
You must have felt tremendous guilt.
I felt guilty. That. I felt guilty if I had known. I mean, my sister's life was more important than anything to me, and I would have done anything to be there for her. And so it just felt like, you always tell people if you're struggling, if you're hurting, reach out for help. And she did, I think. It was just to me. And now, my work is for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is a network of crisis centers that are available via this toll-free number, 1-800-273-TALK, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime, anywhere.
There's always help available.
There's always help available. And, that service exists so that people like my sister, in their time of despair, can reach out, and someone will answer and listen and be empathic and be supportive and get them through that moment. And I wonder, if my sister had known about that number and she had called, perhaps she would have made it to another day, and, we could have gotten through that struggle. I know what suicide did to me and to my family, and it's absolutely devastating. And I know that suicide is preventable. I know that we can prevent tragedies like this from happening. And I don't want other people to have this type of loss. I don't want other families, other communities to feel the pain that mine did as a result of my sister's death.
And I think an important message that you're giving is that most people who make a suicide attempt or succeed have been depressed or have had some other psychiatric condition and had been having suicidal thoughts for a while, knowing that there's a hotline available that's always available is an important resource for people to be aware of.
Absolutely. It's important for 2 reasons. One, because when you're in your moment of despair, you can call this number and there'll be someone there to listen and support you. But they can also provide referrals for mental health services, so that if it isn't a super crisis situation, but you know that you're not feeling well and you need help, these centers can not only support and listen to you in the moment, but then provide you referrals for resources in your community where you can get help.
And most people, and I've spoken to many, many people who have attempted suicide and fortunately were unsuccessful, once their depression lifts, once the severe despair lifts, they're thankful that they were unsuccessful, and it's important for people to keep that in mind.
And I think that even in the moment of despair, there is an ambivalence. I think my sister was in a very deep and dark place, but she still called me. I think that a lot of people call the hotline, they're actively suicidal, they're in despair, they think they want to end their lives, but there's a little part of them that says, maybe I shouldn't do this, and that's why they reach out for help. And that's part of what these crisis providers can do. They can listen to you and support you and start to talk to you about why do you want to die, and maybe why do you want to live, and get you through that moment.